And let's think about that for a moment, because people are full of adulation for the NHS today. There's a service going on down at Westminster Abbey, which is going to include 1,500 healthcare workers. You know, we're still in that kind of rather ludicrous place where people should be applauded for doing work which they are paid reasonably well to do. I was never one of those that applauded the NHS workers during COVID. I was never one of those that clapped for them. I was never one of those that banged pots for them. And I make no apology for that, because I think, yes, many people who work on the front line of the NHS do very difficult and straining work at times. It's very stressful, I'm sure, watching people who are ill. I'm sure it's very awful to work in intensive care where people are dying. But people who work in those places have opted to work there. Doctors want to help people, supposedly. But we now live with a generation of nurses, some of whom want to go on strike. Let's not forget that most nurses actually refused to go on strike. Most nurses in this country did not go on strike because, as far as they were concerned, they did the job that they did in order to help people. We know very well that the BMA, the British Medical Association, is a trade union for doctors. We also know very well that there are some people in that trade union who are so left-wing that they hate the Tories. They would like to see Tories run out of office and never brought back in. They also are incredibly rude lefties, and they basically wouldn't even want to treat Tories if they could get away with it. But that's the problem the NHS has given itself over years. We've got Amanda Pritchard writing in The Sun today. She's the leader of the Chief Executive of NHS England. She basically says, happy 75th birthday NHS, but you'll need intensive care to see another one. She says 45 years of political failure is killing you. Well, it may well be that there has been some political failure, but you cannot tell me that giving £180 billion to an organisation which then wastes at least half of it is the politicians' fault. The people that run the NHS, and I include Amanda Pritchard in that, should also bear some responsibility, because everybody knows that it can't be right that you can't get a dentist in very many parts of this country, that basically people are pulling out their own teeth because dentists have closed off their NHS lists. The dentists say it's because the government's not giving them enough money. Well, how much money do they want? People can't see a GP in many areas of this country because they can't join the GP's list, because the GPs are full, because many of the GPs are only working a 3-day week. Now, that may be between them and the taxman, but the point is, if you're going to be doing a job which is essentially a vocation, don't bleat at me that it's not worth enough money to you, because you're supposed to be helping people. And don't go on strike either. Junior doctors are going to go on strike later this month. That's how much they care about the NHS. But they say they're doing it because they care, because people are dying already. There's already accidental deaths in the NHS which are unforgivable. There's already problems in every A&E department in this country. There's already not enough doctors. There's already money being wasted on agency nurses, on locums. Some people are getting paid upwards of £2,000 a day. Why? Because the NHS is inefficient and they don't know how to do what they're supposed to do. It's as simple as that. So let's not celebrate the 75th birthday. Let's instead reflect on what could have been. We could have a world-beating health service, but instead we have a health service that causes the deaths of people with cancer. More people than any other country. 216 deaths per 100,000 people from cancer in this country. That's worse than America, worse than Canada, worse than Australia, worse than Sweden, worse than France, worse than Spain, worse than Germany, and worse than Japan. So it's not a very happy birthday for a lot of people, because many of them have died as a result of the NHS not saving them. So let's put that into perspective, shall we?